In recent days, I have been plagued by peculiar dreams, initially dismissing them as mere nightmares, until just now. Just now, I experienced a vivid amalgamation of dreams from the past few days, and they were remarkably clear. I am the genuine heiress from a tale of true and false riches, and if all goes as anticipated, my biological parents will seek me out in a few days. However, the false heiress from their household is unwilling to accept this and is determined to expel me. 1. My name is Shin Yenin, and I am an orphan. I grew up in an orphanage, and with the support of the institution and the government, I successfully enrolled in university. Now it is early August, and there is merely a month left before the commencement of classes. After the college entrance examinations, I sought a summer job, and the director allowed me to stay at the orphanage throughout the summer, so I do not need to rent accommodation. Just yesterday, as I returned to the orphanage after work, I was informed that someone was awaiting my arrival, my biological parents. Seated in the car, I finally grasped the reality that my dream might be coming true. Nyenin, you're going home. Are you happy? The woman beside me in the back seat spoke. I replied curtly, my expression devoid of emotion. In truth, I was far from elated. The thoughts of what might transpire next, as envisioned in my dreams, left me anything but joyful. Perhaps every girl has fantasized about suddenly becoming a princess. Yet, I had long outgrown such daydreams. Children from impoverished backgrounds mature quickly, and I lacked even the parents who raised me. The year spent juggling education and work had left no room for idle fantasies. Thus, the sudden transition into the life of a wealthy child felt surreal rather than joyous. Silence enveloped the car for a spell. Nyenin, you have an older brother and sister waiting for you at home. Although you and your sister were switched at birth, she has lived with us for 18 years. She continued. I understood. She was indeed the daughter they had nurtured for 18 years, and their bond was profound. I maintained my impassive demeanor and replied, I comprehend. But if she was switched, how do you know she is my sister? Is it not a common tendency for parents to favor the younger child? Hence, she is the sister, and I am the elder. She momentarily faltered before continuing. There are records from the hospital. Your sister is merely a few minutes younger than you. Rest assured, I have no intention of competing with her for your affection. After the semester begins, I will reside at the university, I assured her. The trials I had faced over the years had honed my emotional intelligence. I understood many things. While it is often said that the weeping child receives sweets, sometimes it is the overly sensible child who elicits greater sympathy. No, that is not what I meant, she stammered. Whatever the meaning, I do not care. I have long ceased to yearn for familial affection, nor do you need to make any efforts to compensate for my absence, I interjected, cutting off my adoptive mother. Let us not dwell on this. Once we return home, your brother will shower you with love alongside your parents, she said with a smile. I replied. However, that is not certain. In my dreams, my dear brother consistently stood by his precious sister. 2. Sister, our parents have finally brought you home. Upon our return, Shun Jilua rushed towards us with a beaming smile. Anyone witnessing her exuberance would perceive her genuine happiness. Although I had indeed dreamt of this moment, I remained cautious around her. I had grown wary of the world long ago. So, this must be my sister. She is truly beautiful. Evidently a princess nurtured in a greenhouse, I remarked with a smile upon seeing her. For a moment, Shun Jilua's smile faltered. My adoptive parents, recalling the life I had endured, felt an even deeper guilt. Sister, you are quite beautiful as well. Ji Yuan chimed in as my adoptive mother introduced us. Nyenin, this is your brother, Shen Ji Yuan, and this is your sister, Shen Yenin. Nyenin, brother. We exchanged greetings. At dinner, the atmosphere was festive. How wonderful! Sister has returned. I wonder what her favorite dishes are. These are Aunt Wang's specialties, and I hope she enjoys them. Rest assured, during my time at the orphanage, I could eat anything that would fill my belly. I have often subsisted on mere steamed buns throughout my school days. This feast feels like a grand banquet to me. I casually replied, feigning nonchalance, as if my past life held no weight. In truth, I had moved beyond it. It was all behind me. Yet my adoptive parents, clearly affected by my words, felt even more remorseful. Nyenin, now that you are home, your parents will ensure you live a good life. My adoptive mother assured me. The faux heiress gripped her chopsticks tightly, a silent exertion of effort. For the entire month, I had been avoiding Shinjilua. unwilling to engage in any conflict. I was now wealthy and preoccupied. The next day, my adoptive father presented me with a card containing 1 million. Since it was given, I would not hold back. I took the card and indulged in a shopping spree. The faux heiress had initially intended to accompany me, but I declined her offer, wary of her ulterior motives. Mother, I merely wish to keep sister company. She must feel so lonely alone, Shinjilua said following my refusal, her tone dripping with subtle insinuations. Lulu just wants to be with you. What are you doing? My adoptive brother, Ji Yuan, interjected, arriving with uncanny speed. Mother, I have always done everything alone. And I am accustomed to it. Besides, is it illegal for me to prefer solitude? I retorted, addressing my adoptive mother directly. My adoptive parents still harbored some guilt towards me, making them more responsive to my words. I did not mind confronting Shinjilua. After all, I intended to leave this household once school commenced. With 1 million in my possession and the assurance of further financial support from my adoptive parents upon the start of the semester, I planned to deposit this money into my own account, ensuring I would not lack for funds while living independently. Soon, with only about a week left until school began, my adoptive parents sought opportunities to host a formal reunion to acknowledge my return. However, I was unwilling. Knowing that the deeper the entanglement, the harder it would be to extricate myself from this family. During dinner, my adoptive mother proposed, with the new semester approaching, why don't we hold a graduation banquet to announce Nyenen's identity? No, let it be. If you wish to celebrate Shinjilua, I have no objections, but I shall not attend. I possess little interest in titles or identities. All I desired was monetary support. Is my sister still upset with me? Shinjilua interjected with her usual insincerity.
No.
Nyenen, you are our biological child. It was only a matter of time before this was revealed, my adoptive father added. There is truly no need. I find it unnecessary. If you genuinely wish for others to know, our acquaintances will surely be informed. As for those who are strangers, we need not concern ourselves with them. So, my sister is still angered by me? Please do not let me affect your relationship with our parents, she continued, eliciting an eye roll from me. Enough, be quiet. If I were to change my mind, I doubt you would be pleased. Stop seeking validation here. Upon hearing my words, the insipid green tea princess's eyes reddened. Shen Yenen, do not go too far. Her overly protective brother could no longer contain himself. You are the one who should not overstep. Do you have any idea of the life I endured in the orphanage? When I was starving with nothing to eat and enduring winter wrapped in blankets, what were you doing? My adoptive brother fell silent. Moreover, I have no interest in the machinations of your affluent world. I have faced numerous challenges since childhood. I began distributing flyers and selling milk and flowers when I was barely the height of this table. Over the years, I have worked as a restaurant server, a supermarket promoter, a delivery person, and a cleaner. What have I not done? In these 18 years, I have encountered all manner of people, and I see through your little schemes. My adoptive parents and brother were momentarily taken aback by my outburst. I had no ulterior motives. I simply wished for them to provide me with more financial support, ideally, to purchase a house near my school, and if that proved impossible, at least to give me enough money to buy one myself. In the following days, driven by their guilt, my adoptive mother took me on shopping sprees. I offered no resistance, as I needed to prepare for school and required many essential items. Thanks to their remorse, by the day before school commenced, my assets had nearly reached 2 million. I must admit, I have truly fallen for these frugal parents of mine. Although they do not express much affection towards me, merely driven by a sense of guilt, I find myself unconcerned with such trivialities. After all, what is love without the means to indulge in wealth?
Ha!
One evening, I approached my inexpensive parents, hesitating and unsure of how to begin the conversation. What's the matter?
Nyenen?
Speak your mind, my mother prompted. Well, the thing is, I stammered, uncertain of how to articulate my request. If you have any demands, feel free to express them. You are our biological daughter, so do not be shy, my father interjected, sensing my hesitation. Since I grew up in an orphanage and lacked a home, I've always harbored a dream of purchasing a house of my own, I tentatively stated. Though I felt confident they would acquiesce, still, I needed to maintain a certain decorum. That's not an issue at all, my father exclaimed, assuming my request was as trivial as asking for pocket money. So, are you free tomorrow? I'd like to buy a small house near the school. Just enough for me to live in. Even if we are busy, it's fine. I can stay at school for now. Of course, we are available. The following day, our family accompanied me to register at the university in City B. Although my frugal brother was initially reluctant, he ultimately complied under the pressure of our parents. As for Shin Ji-lu, she would undoubtedly follow suit to maintain appearances. After registration, we proceeded to purchase a house, which was rather spacious for my needs. Once the house was secured, we also acquired a car for me. My learning aptitude was exceptional. I passed the driving tests for both the second and third parts on my first attempt, and the theoretical knowledge of the first and fourth parts was never a challenge for me. Hence, I obtained my driver's license within a month. As the semester commenced, although many claimed that college was merely for enjoyment, especially during the freshman year, I devoted myself to my studies. Nevertheless, I allowed myself occasional outings on weekends for a balance of work and play. My relationships with my roommates were quite amicable. Everyone was pleasant, and there were no troublesome personalities among us. We would often dine out together on weekends. During weekends, I returned to my cozy abode, and during the holidays, we would venture out of the province together for some fun. Before long, the semester was drawing to a close. I had studied diligently throughout the term, and the final exams posed no threat of failure for me, unlike my 3 roommates, who faced considerable challenges. Thus, I devoted the last week to frantically tutoring them. As the break approached, my mother called to inquire about my summer vacation plans, and when I would return home, I informed her that I did not intend to come back, as I had no desire to engage in a battle of wits with the insufferable green tea and her brother. Although this meant conceding to Shin Ji-lu, I reveled in the freedom of receiving 30,000 yuan monthly from my father and living independently. During the first week of summer vacation, I luxuriated in my little haven, relishing in the blissful solitude. After a week of this delightful existence, my mother called again. Nian, and the summer break lasts 2 months. Are you truly not planning to return home? Mom, I'm doing quite well on my own out here. I intend to find a small company for an internship soon, so I want to be coming back. Our family's company offers internship opportunities as well. Mom, without me, the household has likely been quite comfortable these past few months. Hasn't it? I replied evasively. Don't think that way. You are our biological daughter, and we all wish for your return. Though I did not state it outright. My mother, having navigated the upper echelons of society, quickly discerned my underlying sentiment. Mom, upon my return, both Shin Ji-lu and Shin Ji-yuan will undoubtedly be displeased. My parents will fret over the discord between the children, and I too live cautiously at home, which brings me no joy. Since no one is happy, I prefer to reside outside. I did not intend to evoke guilt. I merely spoke the truth. There's nothing insurmountable within a family. You've only spent a short time with Ji-lu and Ji-yuan. Over time, things will improve.
Mom.
You know well that Ji-yuan only has one sister in his heart, and it is not me. Each day spent at home with Shin Ji-lu reminds me of the 18 years I endured, and I reflect on the life I could have led, one akin to a princess, without the constant struggle for money. Let us leave it at that. I do not wish to return. I do not want to see your son and daughter. You and Dad have both children now, so you need not concern yourselves with my well-being outside, I concluded, directly communicating that as long as Shin Ji-lu remained at home, I had no intention of returning. A few days later, I indeed sought out a company for an internship. Although I was merely a freshman with limited specialized knowledge, the meager stipend offered to interns was hardly worthwhile. Thus, I considered myself a form of cheap labor, and they would be foolish not to hire me. I arrived at a small company where the owner was an undergraduate student himself, which astonished me. 2 weeks later, I began to wonder if it was merely my imagination. But I felt as though this young boss was constantly watching me. Could it be that I had erred in my work? Surely not. As an intern, I was hardly involved in any significant tasks. One day, as I was about to leave, he stopped me. Would you like to have dinner together? It was just the end of the workday, and everyone was preparing to leave. Upon hearing the commotion, the rest of the young staff immediately became nosy. The company was filled with youthful exuberance. Some were co-founders alongside the young boss, while others were new recruits, all of whom were quite young. With me being the sole intern. I hesitated, unsure whether to agree or decline, and lacking a reason for refusal. I found myself being led away by him. As we walked, I could hear the whispers behind us. What did this mean? Did he fancy me? Once we entered the elevator, I broke free from his grasp. Boss, what is the meaning of this? I asked, having only just freed myself to avoid any entanglement within the company. Nothing much. I merely wish to dine with you, he replied, leaning closer. Help. I had always known my boss was quite handsome, but seeing him up close, he was even more striking. Was there something he needed to discuss with me? Remain calm. Remain calm. Do not overthink it. Perhaps he simply had business to discuss. Not at all. What do you enjoy eating? I am not picky. After saying this, I closed my eyes in frustration. Nien En, how could you have inadvertently agreed to dine with him? Noticing my distress, he chuckled lightly. Then I will take you to a place I find delightful. I believe you will enjoy it as well. Well, since it had come to this, what did it matter? It was merely a meal. He was handsome, after all, so I had nothing to lose. The company was located in a towering building on the 27th floor. And upon exiting the elevator, we headed straight for the parking lot. In the ensuing 2 weeks, the young boss consistently brought me breakfast. Initially, I had told him I had already eaten, yet he still insisted on offering it to me. Beyond that, he frequently invited me out for dinner after work. Although I had breakfast elsewhere, I did not want to waste what he provided, so I saved it for snacking during work hours. As days passed, he continued to bring me breakfast, leading me to forego my own in favor of his offerings. Although I claimed this, I still kept 2 packets of bread in my bag, just in case he failed to bring me food one day. Today, after work, he once again urged me to join him for dinner. During the meal, I stammered, boss, at a loss for words. I pondered whether I should directly inquire if he had feelings for me. What if I couldn't even ask? Are you wondering why I bring you breakfast and take you out to dinner? I nodded in response. Because I have a fondness for you. I worry about your well-being and whether you might go hungry. What? I was utterly taken aback. Our company is not a charitable organization. Interns are often inexperienced, and we've already imparted a great deal of knowledge to them. Unlike other companies that do not offer any remuneration, our stipend of 1,500 is considered quite generous, though it may barely suffice for meals. Hence, I bring you breakfast every day, knowing you have lunch sorted, and I'll take you out for dinner after work. The little boss elucidated his recent peculiar behavior. So, is everything you do truly out of affection for me? It turns out I wasn't merely indulging in my own fantasies. Please, refrain from addressing me as boss all the time. I am Jiang Xinghan. Very well, Jiang boss. How am I to change my manner of address so suddenly? He chuckled softly, saying, let it be Jiang boss. We have plenty of time ahead. By the way, I also attend H University. What? We are fellow students. I was astonished. What a remarkable coincidence. Boss, don't you attend classes? When was the company established? This establishment hardly seems like a recent venture. Last year, during my junior year, I found myself with idle time at school, so I decided to dabble in entrepreneurship. And here we are now. So, you're in your senior year? Jiang Xinghan nodded. Boss, did you know me before? I feel that should not be the case. No. He shook his head. Then how did you suddenly develop feelings for me? I didn't voice my thoughts aloud. In truth, it was rather simple. I noticed you during the interview. Perhaps it was some sort of affinity. Since then, I've been observing you from afar. Such feelings are involuntary. I cannot explain why I became fond of you. He smiled as he spoke. After that, I offered him no response. To me, he was merely a superior I had yet to know well, hardly a friend. What normal person would harbor feelings for their boss? Although he wasn't directly in charge of me, he was still a superior. Upon the conclusion of my month-long internship, I collected my wages and departed. I had no desire to squander 2 months solely on work. I had already endured enough fatigue, and now that I had some money, it was time to relish life. After resting at home for 2 days, I purchased a high-speed train ticket, preparing to venture to another province. The notion of embarking on a spontaneous solo trip was exhilarating. While on the train, the little boss called me via video, and upon seeing me aboard, he inquired about my destination. I informed him I was heading to K-City. Subsequently, he began messaging me whenever he had a moment, confirming my availability and calling me via video. 2 days later, I returned to B-City. In the following days, Jiang Xinghan contacted me daily, calling and inviting me out for meals. I never disclosed that I lived alone in B-City. He likely respected my privacy and refrained from prying into my personal life, just as I did not inquire about his. As the new year approached, my mother called, saying, "Nien, and the new year is approaching. When will you return? You can't possibly avoid coming home for the holidays." I had forgotten how soon the new year was, and it was likely too late to secure a ticket. I resolved to drive home the following day, acknowledging that I could not escape returning for the new year. I agreed readily. "Drive safely and remember to rest during your stops. Don't drive while fatigued." Not long after hanging up with my mother, Zhang Xinghan called again. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Packing my things. I'm heading back to a city tomorrow," I replied, placing my phone aside while I continued to pack. "Back to a city? Is that where your family is? Aren't you returning home for the winter break?" he queried in rapid succession. "Yes. I'd rather not return home. Living alone in B City is quite pleasant, but since it's the new year, my mother insisted I come back." "How do you plan to get there? Have you bought a ticket? By train or high-speed rail?" "I'll drive." It's likely impossible to get a ticket at this point. If there are any, they would be standing tickets for the high-speed train or seats on the regular train. It would be too much hassle. It's south better to drive myself. "I'm heading back as well. Let us go together." "I wouldn't feel comfortable with you driving alone for such a long distance." "Huh? Your family is also in a city? Why are you running a company in B City?" "I started the company while studying, so here I am." We then took turns driving my car to a city. I felt it would be inconvenient without a vehicle, and since he had one there, it made sense to take mine. During the drive, I found myself musing about our relationship. Are we friends, or are we in a state of ambiguity? To be honest, I might have developed a slight fondness for him. At my age, when one's heart begins to flutter, I hadn't taken the time to ponder such feelings. Thus, this was my first experience of infatuation. Engaging in daily conversations and video calls with such a handsome man and feeling his kindness towards me, it would be disingenuous to claim I felt nothing. "I should drop you off at home first. If it's inconvenient, I can take you nearby." I wasn't particularly interested in where his home was. But since I was driving my own car, there was no inconvenience. He provided me with an address, and after dropping him off, I headed to my parents' house. To me, my little solitary abode felt much more like home. Upon arriving at the Shin residence, I was met with the usual familial dynamics. After dinner, I retreated to my room, finding it increasingly bothersome to face those two, especially when they began to speak. Not long after I settled in, Zhang Xinghan called me via video. "Have you had your New Year's Eve dinner?" he asked, seemingly still in the living room, with distant voices audible. "I'm full now. I've returned to my room." We exchanged a few scattered words, and suddenly, a man who bore a resemblance to him appeared on the screen. "Oh. Who are you talking to? Have you got a girlfriend?" "Yes, quite the catch." The man stealthily approached from behind to glance at the phone. "No. It's not like that," I attempted to explain, but before I could finish, he walked away and I vaguely heard him exclaim, "Breaking news, breaking news. Our little Han has a girlfriend." I blinked in confusion, utterly bewildered. Soon after, several people approached. "What? Little Han has a girlfriend? What does she look like?" They peppered him with questions. Jiang Xinghan, growing annoyed, retorted, "Don't scare her off. She has already gone." Once he hurried back to his room, he asked me, "So? Were you frightened?" "Not at all, but why didn't you explain?" I didn't intend to sound accusatory. Rather, I felt a bit shy. "Explain what? Isn't this inevitable?" He noticed my embarrassment and teased, "Who said it was inevitable? Did I, the person in question, agree to this?" I felt a wave of shyness wash over me, and after saying this, I ended the call. At 23:58, Zhang Xinghan called me again. "Are you asleep?" "Not yet. I'm holding out for the new year." "Are there fireworks to watch at your place?" "Probably not. It's likely prohibited, and they want to enforce it too strictly." "I live in the suburbs. Let me show you." He then glanced at the clock on the wall, turned the phone camera towards the window, and announced, "It's countdown time. 10, 9, 8, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year." Boom. "How beautiful," I exclaimed. Indeed, since the ban on fireworks, I hadn't seen any in years. Thus, we spent a long while watching the fireworks together. Though they were fleeting, they were truly magnificent. I remarked as I gazed at the display. Yes, they really are beautiful. Unbeknownst to me at that moment, while I was captivated by the fireworks, he was watching me. On the evening of the second day of the new year, he called again. Have you had dinner?
I have.
Shall we meet? He asked. Sure. Send me the address. The location he provided was somewhat remote, and it took me over an hour of driving to arrive. The surroundings were shrouded in darkness, instilling a sense of trepidation that prevented me from alighting from the vehicle. I promptly dialed Zhang Xinghan. Hello, where are you? Why is it so dark here? Just a moment, he replied. After a couple of minutes, I noticed a figure approaching, illuminated by the beam of a flashlight. As he drew near, he called out, Come down. I opened the car door and stepped out. Where are we? Why come to this gloomy place? I inquired, bewildered. Surely we aren't camping here? Guess again.
He teased.
I can't. After walking for a short distance, the darkness suddenly dissipated, revealing a vast expanse of blooming flowers before me. Oh my heavens! How stunning! How could there be such a magnificent flower sea here? The environment seems all wrong for it. I arranged for this. Isn't it beautiful? It really is breathtaking. I exclaimed, utterly captivated. Nianin, would you be willing to be with me? The question caught me off guard as I was lost in the beauty surrounding me. Indeed, it made sense. Being brought to such a romantic floral setting must have been intended for a confession. How could I have overlooked that? I responded, realizing that I had developed feelings for him. Since I liked him, why hesitate? I readily agreed. He joyfully enveloped me in his arms and spun me around. After he set me down, a distant sound of fireworks erupted. Today was the third day of the Lunar New Year. While having breakfast, my parents mentioned that some guests would be visiting. Upon hearing this, I declared that I would remain in my room. I was reluctant to meet their relatives and friends, preferring to avoid entanglements. Despite our blood ties, I yearned for solitude, for I found social obligations tedious. After their friends departed, hunger struck, prompting me to venture into the kitchen for a snack. To my astonishment, I discovered Shen Jilua sobbing despondently, while 3 others attempted to console her. It was evident she was genuinely upset, and my curiosity was piqued. Adopting a mindset of deriving pleasure from her misfortune, I inquired with my mother. Eventually, I learned that Shen Jilua harbored feelings for the younger son of their dining companions, a sentiment she had nurtured for many years. In their childhood, the grandfathers of both families had jokingly suggested an arranged marriage, but everyone knew it was merely a jest. Nevertheless, Shen Jilua clung to this notion, believing that their families were financially compatible and closely bonded, an ideal match. As their friends were nearing, she pressed her parents to reveal her feelings, only to be mercilessly rejected. The young man had already taken a girlfriend, which elicited peals of laughter from me. What a melodramatic tale. In typical drama fashion, one would expect the male character's parents to coerce him into breaking up with his girlfriend to pursue an alliance with Shen's family. However, the boy's parents were surprisingly progressive, supporting their son's choices and thus rejecting the proposal from the Shen family. This story amused me immensely, as I relished the opportunity to find joy in her sorrow. Past grievances were irrelevant. We had no control over them. Yet, upon returning to the Shen household, not only did she show no remorse towards me, but she also sought to ostracize me, conspiring with her brother against me. After hearing the news, I could not muster the energy to feign comfort, retreating to my room instead. I initially intended to deliver some sarcastic remarks, but found myself at a loss for words. Upon entering my room, I noticed a message from Zhang Xinghan. My parents learned you are also in a city and wish to meet you. What? How sudden? We've only been dating for a day. I was genuinely taken aback. I felt too young for such an encounter. If you prefer not to meet them, I can decline for you. But what? But they might suspect I fabricated a girlfriend to placate them. What? At your age, you're already facing marriage pressure? I replied, utterly astonished. It's because my grandfather jokingly arranged a betrothal when we were children, and just as they brought it up, I happened to have a girlfriend. Prior to her, I didn't even have a female friend. Suddenly, I have a girlfriend. Oh, a childhood betrothal, like a childhood sweetheart, I mused. It's not how you imagine. We've only met during New Year gatherings, and aside from that, we have had no contact whatsoever. As I listened to him, a sense of familiarity washed over me. Could it be that the boy Shen Jilua liked was Zhang Xinghan? My jaw dropped in disbelief as I pondered this revelation. I wanted to ask him, but felt unsure of how to phrase my inquiry. After a moment of contemplation, Zhang Xinghan, perhaps sensing my silence, hastily called me. I assure you, there is absolutely no connection between her and me. The notion of childhood sweethearts is utterly unfounded. He spoke rapidly as soon as I answered the call. I blinked, taken aback by his urgency.
Oh,
You just rejected her and are now racing to clarify? Teased a woman's voice. Mom, please don't cause trouble. I shot a glare at the person on my left through the video call. All right, I won T medal. But can I assist? I was baffled by her statement as another person appeared on the screen. Dear girl, rest assured, this lad is head over heels for you. I was worried he might have his heart set on someone else, but he has clearly developed feelings for you. You need not worry. I chuckled awkwardly and managed to stammer, hello, Auntie. After hastily ending the call, I found myself consumed by uncertainty. Could they truly be who I thought they were? How coincidental. I could barely sit still, rushing to inquire with the housekeeper. To my astonishment, the intertwining of our lives was indeed dramatic. The Shun and Jiang families were both prominent, and should my relationship with Jiang Xinghan be discovered, my true identity would be unveiled, forcing me to acknowledge my status as a daughter of the Shun family. I relished my freedom and independence, wishing to remain detached from the affluent circles they inhabited. If I accepted my identity as a Shun, my parents would undoubtedly host a grand banquet to acknowledge me, not only out of love, but for their own prestige. The shame of having their genuine daughter living outside while a false daughter resided in their home would be insufferable, especially with the potential repercussions on their business. In this age of rapid information dissemination, public opinion could wield considerable influence. While hosting a banquet might not pose an issue, the aftermath certainly would. Just observing Shin Jila made it clear that being a socialite was no easy feat, although she seemed to enjoy it. I had no desire to lead such a life. All I longed for was a simple existence in my cozy abode, indulging in food and drink, perhaps working a modest job or running a small shop when boredom struck. However, my thoughts lingered on this matter, and when Jiang Xinghan called, my mind was elsewhere. He assumed I was upset over the childhood sweetheart situation. I had lingered long enough. It was time to leave the city and return to my sanctuary. Upon asking Jiang Xinghan, he agreed to accompany me. From that point forward, we engaged in a rather ordinary romantic relationship. Soon, summer vacation approached. I must say, this semester has been delightful. Although the first semester was enjoyable, this one felt even better with Jiang Xinghan by my side. However, Shen Jilua frequently sought him out, appearing every weekend. Each time she visited, I would hide away, leading Jiang Xinghan to believe I was sulking out of jealousy. His assumptions suited me just fine, sparing me the need for explanations. However, during that period, he expressed his intention to introduce me to her, his heart already dead to her, yet I was unwilling to comply. My refusal was likely articulated as follows. You have already mentioned that you have a girlfriend. She continues to cling to you. What purpose would my involvement serve? Today marks the graduation of Jiang Xinghan, a day for capturing memories through photographs. As his girlfriend, it is only natural for me to accompany him. Yet I harbor concerns about a sudden appearance from his family. Nevertheless, caution is key, and I have informed him to keep my presence concealed. Thus, even if they were to arrive, I should have a strategy in place. However, plans often falter in the face of unexpected changes. While we were taking photos together, his family unexpectedly appeared. Of all moments, it had to be during the group picture. If I had merely been photographing him, I could have discreetly departed afterward. Yet, in a group photo, without my graduation attire, I found myself at a loss for an excuse. After a moment of panic, I managed to maintain an air of nonchalance as I walked away. In such a setting, they were likely to be preoccupied with celebrating their son's graduation and would hardly notice me. Yet, the situation took a turn for the worse. Just a few steps away, I was halted by my mother calling out to me, Nianin? I closed my eyes and took a moment to mentally prepare myself before responding. There was no escaping this encounter. What brings you here? I deliberately omitted the term mom. Meanwhile, Shun Jilua had also approached Jiang Xinghan, likely accompanied by only her. Their father and my elder brother were absent. I came to see you, she exclaimed. Shall we speak privately? After saying this, I attempted to pull her aside. Jingwan, may I inquire who this is? Jiang Xinghan's mother called out to my mother. This is my daughter, my mother replied, turning to Jiang Xinghan's mother. At last, I meet you. Nianin, is it? You have endured much over the years. Jiang Xinghan's mother stepped forward and took my hand. It's all in the past. By the way, I just saw you taking a photo with the Han. she inquired. Jiang Shenghan approached, ready to speak, but I preempted him. Oh, during the winter break. I was working for a story he shared, and that's how we got to know each other. So that's how it is, his mother nodded in understanding. At that moment, Jiang Shenghan interjected. Mom, allow me to introduce my girlfriend, Shen Yanan. I was momentarily taken aback by this revelation, feeling as if the ground beneath me had shifted. Brother, how could you just spring this on me? His family appeared equally stunned, but quickly regained their composure. His mother was the first to respond. So this young man has been dating for 6 months, and it is you. Jingwan, what a coincidence. She was evidently quite pleased. It suddenly struck me why Jiang Shenghan's family seemed familiar. I had seen them during a phone call with him over the New Year. Hello, I am the elder brother. Jiang Chun, his brother introduced himself as he stepped forward. Hello, I am Xin Yanan. While we enjoyed a warm exchange, Shen Jilua appeared to be on the verge of a breakdown. Since Shen Jilua discovered that Jiang Shenghan's mysterious girlfriend was indeed me, her animosity towards me intensified. During the summer vacation, she made weekly appearances to assert her presence, seeking every opportunity to undermine our relationship. Despite her efforts, she succeeded only marginally. Approximately a month after the start of the new semester, both Shen Jilua and Jiang Shenghan had gained a certain level of notoriety, being the offspring of 2 prominent families. Furthermore, both were quite attractive, drawing the attention of many. As they spent more time together, they were photographed frequently, and evidence of their encounters began circulating online. Speculations arose that a union between the Shen and Jiang families was imminent, especially considering their strong familial ties, leading many to believe they were childhood sweethearts. During this time, rumors surfaced suggesting that their families were engaged in a betrothal, further solidifying the public's conviction. Neither Jiang Shenghan nor I paid much attention to the internet, nor did we concern ourselves with celebrity gossip. Consequently, by the time we became aware of the situation, it had already escalated. Upon learning of the situation, Jiang Shenghan promptly registered a verified account under his family's company name to clarify matters, stating that he already had a girlfriend. For reasons unknown, someone unearthed the identity of his girlfriend as me, resulting in a torrent of online vitriol labeling me a homewrecker. Coincidentally, the school had just announced scholarship recipients, and I had made the list. This led to not only insults directed at me, but also at the school itself, questioning how someone of my character could be awarded a scholarship. Subsequently, the Jiang and Shen families used their influence to suppress the uproar, while Jiang Shenghan issued another post, clarifying that he had no relationship with Shen Jilua. Although they were familiar, he was not close to her at all, and he had been dating me for over 6 months. Once he disclosed that they had only begun being photographed together during the summer, many discerning netizens recognized the timeline. Yet, some continued to cling to the betrothal narrative. As the situation escalated, Jiang Shenghan's mother advised my parents to disclose my true identity. In truth, had my parents truly found the situation intolerable, they would have spoken out directly. However, they were considering Shen Jilua's feelings, particularly regarding my elder brother. Yet, when a close friend urged them to act, my parents consulted me, and I consented. Previously, I had wished to lead a tranquil life without drawing attention. But since I was being pushed, could I continue to endure the label of a homewrecker? After revealing my true identity, the public was abuzz with the spectacle of the true heiress. Isn't Shen Jilua Jiang Shenghan's childhood sweetheart? Now that the true heiress has returned, will she concede? I am from H University, and Shen Yanan clearly exhibits the traits of someone affluent, possessing both car and home. Though it's unclear if the property is rented or owned. How could she be so wealthy if she hadn't been recognized before university? Is it her choice to remain here, or are external forces preventing her return? The implications are unsettling. Soon, public opinion began to shift. Subsequently, Shen Jilua was exposed. The photographs of her with Jiang Shenghan were orchestrated by her own efforts, and she had manipulated the ensuing narrative. Unsurprisingly, it was Jiang Shenghan who orchestrated the revelations, ensuring the truth came to light. Ultimately, after Shen Jilua's reputation was irrevocably tarnished, both families began to harbor disdain for her, compelling her to leave the country. Meanwhile, Jiang Shenghan and I continued to enjoy a blissful relationship, eventually marrying. As for the Shen family, with the source of animosity gone, my elder brother's perception of me improved, and I would occasionally visit them when time permitted. The end of the narrative has arrived. I appreciate your attention, and I look forward to our next tale.